Today I decided to change the fan belt on the Jimny. It was quite a hassle to get it off, which involved removing the radiator. I'm going to now show you how to put it all back together.
The Jimny has two drive belts. The one goes from the engine through the tensioner, through the power steering and the aircon. The other one goes through the engine, drives the alternator and the fan, and I think this is also the water pump. So if this one belt is broken, you won't have power steering and aircon. If that one's broken, your car brakes. To remove the second one, or to change the second one, you would have to remove this one. So while I was busy removing this one, I thought I might as well just do the other one at the same time. The water pump belt is tensioned by moving the alternator up and down, and it pivots around this bolt, which was very tight, and the only way I managed to get that out is by using a power bar, which required removing the whole radiator. This thing is what the fan is attached to. I had to remove it by undoing these 4 screws to get it out of the way so that I can undo that screw with the power bar. I've also now put the first belt in and tensioned it by pivoting the alternator down and tightening that screw, and afterwards I retightened that screw too. I've now fitted the second belt, and that one is tensioned by getting a 10mm Allen wrench in over there and using that to tension it, and after you've tensioned it, you tighten it on that screw, and after you've done both, you can tighten also the screw around which it pivots. The first thing to go back from the radiator is the radiator shroud. It's this plastic bit. I had to flex it quite a bit to get it back in, but as you can see now it's just loose in here. And now we'll put the fan back. It's tightened with 4 screws over there. It is fitted over that like that. Now I've got the fan back on, and the radiator will now slide in over here. It rests at the bottom on that, and it is tightened with 2 screws, one over here and one over there. Okay, I've now placed the radiator back. Be very careful when working with it because these fins are very fragile. Even just touching them bends them. When I removed the radiator initially, I put some newspapers or a cardboard or something in here so that I don't accidentally bump it hard against the fan. It was a lot easier putting it back knowing how it goes in. And then there's a hose that is attached on this side. And then I'll move that clamp down here now, and there's a similar hose like this on the bottom as well. Okay, now I've replaced that clamp. I've attached the radiator with this screw and that screw, and I've fixed the radiator shroud to the radiator with this screw and this screw, and now there are also more screws at the bottom. Let me show you. So this is the bottom of the radiator where it sits at the bottom. I showed this hole from the top earlier, and look at what it looks like. That rubber is sticking right through. It was a little bit difficult to get both the feet in like that again, and now I'll attach the radiator shroud at the bottom here and fix that pipe. Now the last thing I did was reconnect the battery, which is the first thing you should do before you start working. Also, before I removed the radiator, I had to drain it. I think if you don't also plan to replace the coolant, you might be able to catch the coolant and just put it back.
But when I removed the radiator, there was a lot of bugs and things stuck in it, which fell into the tray that I used to catch the coolant. So, of course, then I wouldn't be able to use it anymore. But I was planning to replace it anyway.